Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Skyver, and hey, let's talk about Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion, issue number 3. Written by Tom Taylor, drawn by me, Ethan Van Skyver, colored by Jason Wright. This is my favorite cover out of the bunch. I don't know, I really like this figure of Guy Gardner holding his, cupping his ring hand like that, like a cop does with his gun. I just thought it looked kind of neat. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do that, so I thought I would give it a shot, and it worked out nice. I like his face too. John's a little bit I don't know. I'm not crazy about his eyes. They look dead to me, like dead eyes. But, you know, it's okay. I really love the core down here streaming in. You've got a little bit of everyone. And that's the fun thing about drawing Green Lantern, is just all the variety of colors and shapes. And, you know, they're all wearing the same green uniform. Above them all is Marniel, fully revealed, the ostensible villain of the story, which may or may not be the case. I mean, you know, there are some secrets. Things might not be as they seem. So let's open up here, and we are on the planet Betrasis, which is where Iolandi is from. And here's Iolandi as a little girl, and she is just sitting in the field. I guess they're going for a hike or a walk or something. And her father is telling her to get up and use her legs, and she's saying, hey, I don't want to walk. I'm a princess. And he's advising her that she does need to get up and walk. But let's see, he's going to carry her. She got up to her feet even though she was tired, and she was going to walk, and then he decided, hey, I'll pick you up, because as long as you're willing to fight, I will help you. Yeah, this little scene there. And we cut to this really pretty shot, a very alien-looking Princess Iolandi. Traditionally, she's drawn very, very beautifully, and I think she's beautiful too. But I think the one kind of weakness of you know, the way Green Lantern characters are drawn is that the alien isn't played up enough. Everyone looks kind of human, just with a yellow face or a pink face or a blue face. So it's a good idea to just see what you can do. Now with Iolandi, I just removed her eyebrows and, you know, darkened the whites of her eyes and made them black, and instantly she looks a little bit spookier. I mean, she's still beautiful, but she's, you know, look, she's not from our world. Yeah, so they're flying towards Mogo. It's a long distance, and some of the lanterns, believe it or not, get tired, which is odd because they're Green Lanterns, and they probably shouldn't get tired. They should, you know, have willpower to push forward. This was a panel that took a long time to draw. This whole page took a long time to draw, frankly. It doesn't look like it would. But you know, it's not about, when you're drawing, it's not necessarily about the amount of lines you're putting down. It's also about acting. You know, when you're drawing all of these little characters, getting them thinking through their behavior, putting them in different interesting poses. These are things that take some blue pencil work. They take a little bit of time and energy. So this panel did take a little bit longer, as did this, and you know, the whole page. It's a lot of characters. I don't know how George Perez does it. Meanwhile, across the universe, you know, we saw that last issue, Dismas, the giant benefactor of I think it's called the Last City. Is it the Lost City? I think it's the Last City. It'll probably remind us in a minute. He was wounded. He got smacked across the face by an exploding aircraft. That's enough to hurt anyone. And so Salak and Guy Gardner are returning him safely and unconsciously to the ground. This is a really good panel. This is good. I'm working hard here to do a good job. Guy Gardner is bereaved because he witnessed the death of Badge and of his friend Arisia, allegedly. I mean, supposedly. And so he's upset. He blames a few people. He blames the people who said, yes, we should interact with this city of disparate aliens. And even though we don't know anything about them or who they are or what they might do, we should help them. And he thinks that unnecessarily put the lanterns at risk. So he blames some people, and he walks away. Other lanterns are chasing him. Here we have some really cool looking alien beings from Lost Worlds that are they're huddling to this this kind of mobile planet thing to survive. They're hoping this is almost like Noah's Ark, which is interesting because if you listen to my commentary for Superman Batman, my run on that, you'll see I kind of had that same thought. Like, wouldn't it be interesting if a Noah type of character built a spacecraft which could hold and contain all of the remaining living creatures from planets that had died out, species that had died out, and he needed a place to recolonize them. So that's basically what's happening here. Guy's very upset. Last issue, he saw Kilowog across the face. Here comes Kilowog. This is a nicely composed panel. I like 2/6's kind of tentacles, kind of framing Kilowog here. That's really neat. I mean, that's, yeah. When composing a panel like that, I mean, it's you have foreground, midground, background. It's a good idea to use the foreground characters to indicate something, a secondary kind of action. So so more about that. I realized last night that it's like I should probably explain more about how you compose a panel for artists that are watching. All right, so there's foreground, there's midground, there's background. Okay, those are the three things that you need to consider. But you also need to ask yourself, what is this panel trying to convey? And it can be more than one thing. And so, in fact, it's usually better when it is more than one thing. In this panel, for example, you're trying to convey Guy's, he's really upset, and he's walking away from everything. He powered down his ring. His face looks blank. He's holding in incredible grief, and he's walking away from everyone. Now, secondary and action is that the other lanterns are behind him, and they're like, "Hey, Guy, what's up?" And then beyond that, we want to introduce all these kind of alien creatures and make them look interesting and distinctive. And then beyond even that, we have Alcimus and Dismas flying away with each other, okay, because Alcimus has Dismas's unconscious body, and so she is going to take him somewhere. So it's basically four things that we're putting across in the panel, and here we're putting across two. In essence, we're putting across this interaction here, John Stewart trying to get through to Guy Gardner, and back here we have Kilowog, and that's the secondary thing in the background, coming at him, and we know there's going to be some trouble. We're using the foreground elements to sort of highlight the secondary aspect of this panel. And that's okay. Boom, of course, we knew this was going to happen. Kilowog punches Guy right across the face. One of my favorite, this is one of my favorite scenes from the book, I guess, because Kilowog has his boot right on Guy Gardner's neck, and he is, look, the ground beneath him, the pavement beneath him is all shattered and crackled. John Stewart is running towards him like, Kilowog, and he's created kind of a weird construct thing that's built the way John Stewart builds constructs to hold Kilowog back. And Guy Gardner just blows Kilowog off of him here. I mean, just fires a ring blast. Get off of me. But in a way, it's like Guy is not on guard at all, and he's still in pain. So he lets this kind of happen, I think, for a little while until he goes ahead and deals with it. Kilowog is now this has become kind of a standoff situation between all these lanterns, and they realize as they're fighting that all these creatures who are dependent on them, and this took a long time. Look at these wonderful different shapes of animals, and the kind of world that they inhabit, this technical world. He says, "Hey, we're being watched. They're watching us, and they're depending on us. So it's not a good idea for us to fight publicly." And that's true. And this is where 2/6 is not quite aware yet of Aricia and Badge being dead, and so she asks about it, and Guy Gardner just says, "Yeah, well, why don't you ask Kilowog?" And Kilowog is aware, and he hangs his head. Now it's going to be Kilowog's job to inform them about the deaths of Badge and Arisia. Very sad. Another great page. Guy Gardner hovers above the last city. It is the last city. Hovers above it, and you see him kind of playing with his ring. Like, is this almost like obviously that's what's on his mind? His duties as a lantern, his friends, and the corps that they belong to, and is this just part of the thing? I mean, what is our mission statement here? Is it just survival, or do we still, despite this horrific threat, are we still obligated to defend all lives? Even though in a way it's like this other universe, does it really matter? It's a lot of stuff's going on in his head. This took a long time to draw. So this is of course 1 point perspective, guys. The point just being right here, right under his feet, and then you want to draw a nice grid coming out like this, and then these are all wonderfully kind of. There's very little actual ruler drawing here. In fact, I don't think there's any. It is just kind of noodling to create these futuristic buildings that push all the way back to the edge of the planet. And Al Smith shows up to talk to him, see what's up. And he is angry. And let's see. Yeah, she says to him, the people of Last City need you, little warrior. They need your grief and your anger. They need you to strike at the true evil. And he says, Marniel. Yeah, I have to destroy Marniel. And she's look at this smile, and she looks innocent. And then we can all be safe. So she is basically gaslighting him and instructing him to attack Marniel, who is a character that we know very little about, except that she did order that missile strike on the lanterns who were trying to block this growing void, this rip, this tear that's sucking everything in and possibly destroying it. Here's Mogo. Mogo and Penderon have been talking. Is this planet alive? Interesting. Yeah, okay, so they're not friendly. It's pretty cute. They're having a little conversation. Penderon says the universe is dying. We know. Soon. Kilowog says, how soon? Look at that mitt. He says, we have 4 days. The universe is already starting to pull apart at the seams, but in 4 days it will implode. We have to escape before the opposite of the Big Bang snuffs us out. With the universe collapsing, the walls of this existence will be weakened. Somewhere out there, I'm sure there is an escape. All right, so she is, this is all she's got. She knows what she wants these guys to do, basically. And I don't know if you're beginning to doubt her motives, but I am. I'm doubting her whole agenda. Here is Salak at the bottom here. I love Salak. Absolutely love him. And I do, even though I like to draw him from profile because that's, you can see the interesting shape of his head, I do challenge myself to draw him from the front, which is a little bit more difficult. But hopefully I get it right. Is that a fair transition? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, this book was good. Here's a nice splash of some of the lanterns leaving, I guess, Penderon, or the last city. I keep saying lost. It's Last City. Taken off into space. This is a nice 1 point perspective shot featuring Vaz and Hanu. And boy, I wish I could remember my frog's name. I don't. Is it Galliacet or okay? And yeah, I can't always, I'm so bad at names. I remember their faces. I remember how to draw them. If not, I get reference. But their little alien names kind of escape me at times. Yeah, okay. But it's a good splash page. Guy, you're not leaving? And he says, no, you can stay and protect the city, but I'm going to hit the problem directly. I'm taking down Marniel, and then we can all be safe. Look at him, repeating her, like he's been programmed. Kilowog's like, I'm coming with you. Is that okay? And he's like, look at that. Yeah, that's all right. It's time for you guys to make up and become brothers again. There's an ad for Batman v Superman. That dates this book. And there they go. I mean, they're taking off. Kilowog builds a construct drill to drill right into the earth. And, oh yeah, nice shot of Kilowog here. I was enjoying myself. And they come through the other side only to find themselves, facing down these guns. Whoops, defense is up, time for a fight, and there is a nice big fight here with Kilowog creating some kind of like battering ram pile driver kind of thing, and they're all attacking these aliens with guns that belong to Marniel. And let's see, Guy is trapping them all in these little bubbles. He's containing them in these giant bubbles, I should say. And here's Marniel, release my people. She comes out. Guy is actually juggling the globes that he put the people. I like that back there. I don't know if anyone caught on. It's very small. He says, yeah, that's not how this bit works. And she unleashes the souls of all the people who came before. These are all ghosts. She's launched ghosts at them. That's a spooky power. It's kind of construct ghosts. Simon Baz, well, the beams don't work. His willpower energy does not work on the ghosts. And as they approach, this is going to suck. Well, that's a nice panel too. And it like tears at them and, whatever. The only way he can stop them is he shoots a beam and it looks like it goes right through. Does it? Or glances? I don't know what it does, but it hits Marniel right in the chest. And all the ghosts come back to her. And the lanterns fall to the earth unconscious. You ever do that? Marniel, see, this is a no-no. I do disagree with this. I don't think you can take a Green Lantern's ring off, but if you do, you find Guy Gardner in his underpants, and I'm drawing Guy Gardner naked all the time, I'll tell you, and Marniel becomes a Green Lantern, which I don't know how we explain that. Let me think. How would you become a Green Lantern in an alternate universe with no Oa? I have no idea. I'm sure that Tom Taylor does explain that away, and maybe it's artificial or something like that. But Marniel becomes a Green Lantern. Beautiful. End of issue. And then we're going to go to issue number 4. So at this point, I got a call from DC about DC Universe Rebirth and asking me to be a part of that. Jeff said you're going to have to leave Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion now, so that you can do the return of Wally West to the DC Universe. So you can find the video that I did on that, the DCU Rebirth secret commentary. That is available on the channel. And I completed the covers. I could only find 2 of them. One of them is, the next one after this is Guy Gardner, and he's like chained up and he has a gag in his mouth or something. I don't remember. And then here is issue number 5's cover with Guy Gardner, and it looks like he's going to have a showdown with John Stewart. Who took over? Ardian Syaf and Jonathan Glapian. That's nice. And here is the final cover. This one was much easier to draw because all it was a string of lanterns just falling into the whiteness of the void. Interestingly enough, it looks like Jack Herbert drew this. We know Jack Herbert now from Green Lantern. He did an arc on Hal Jordan. Breakdown Scott McDaniel, artist Jack Herbert. So, that's interesting. I never really looked at the interiors of this before, but now that Jack Herbert is someone that I know, or know of, pretty neat. And I like the way Scott McDaniels did breakdowns, but he's not cover credited, which is unfortunate. So it was fun. All I wanted, my entire goal at DC was to get back on Hal Jordan. That's all I wanted to do, was just to draw Hal Jordan, and this was the entry point to that. I knew that if I finished DC Universe Rebirth and all of the stuff that went along with it, I had to draw some pages for Green Lantern's Rebirth. I would be on Hal Jordan, his book full-time, which is something that I've been doing since and enjoying myself quite a bit. So, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, please subscribe, please share the video, tell your friends, and I think we'll be back. I think we'll do some more Learn to Draw videos, either later tonight or tomorrow. Okay? Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.